I'm delighted to have Jennifer McEwan from South Lanarkshire College with me today to talk a little bit about HNC and making the move onto HNC from the access to STEM, or if you're looking at a science-based programme from your SWAP courses. So hi Jen, welcome.
Hi there.
So, HNC, is that an easy option for our students?
No, it is not. It's not a step down. It is in no way the minor or easy route to take. It involves just as much work as any university course. So I would not look at it as the lower route to take. I would probably actively encourage students to look at the HNC route, because we do have the ability in the colleges sometimes, we know you students, we can give you a bit extra support and guide you, but at the same time you're going to get the level of education and teaching that you would at university. Okay, so your standards are exactly the same. It's just that you might have the same course team, which may give you a wee bit of comfort, but certainly do not look at it as an easy option. Definitely not.
Don't be lulled into a false sense of security if you've got the same tutoring team. No. I think that's the message there, because we very much looked at mindset and self-reflection and expectations at the beginning of the SWAP programme. So I suppose students really should be hitting that reset button, Jen, do you think, again, and looking at themselves and their own expectations and their mindset?
Yes, and this is where the Prep for HE comes into its own, because throughout the whole SWAP process, we ask students all the time to reflect, whether it be in a classroom setting, in an online setting, or just in your own, looking at how you've developed from week one straight through to the very last week, and even during the summer after you've completed the SWAP course. So you'll have a good idea about how you've developed, what you've developed skills in, where you're strong and where your areas of development are. And that knowledge will help build for you going on to the HNC, because you will need all those skills and you'll need to work on those skills. But if you can start in the SWAP course with your Prep for HE, get that in a really good grounding, that will definitely help in the HNC. And you'll get help with it as well throughout the HNC programme, but it's a continuation. It shouldn't be treated as two separate, we've got a SWAP Prep, we've got an HNC. This should be a continuation. And the groundwork gets started now going into the HNC.
Why do people choose an HNC, Jen? What's the draw for doing an HNC?
The draw primarily for science students, when we've spoken with them, they like the flexibility of coming into a college. They may know the college. They may feel that the college environment suits them better. Some people suit university environments really well, and that's why it's important to go and visit the campuses. And I would encourage students to go and visit the campus regardless of the subject, but also look at the college campus. College campuses can be a wee bit smaller and a wee bit more community feel, whereas universities can be quite big. So get a feel for what the campus is like. It's not all about the subject, it's very much about your learning environment. And that's where the HNCs can help a wee bit. Classes can sometimes be smaller. Everything tends to be a wee bit more focused towards the subject. So some university degrees, you've got a wide kind of level of subjects throughout the first year. HNC, you know roughly where you're going. Everything's quite set in stone for it. And also the course team. If you know the course team, the science teams in the college tend to be a bit smaller than at unis. So that ability to know your tutors and know that they're there for you can just help give you a wee bit of a further push into higher level education.
You've had that really good grounding as a student on your SWAP programme, on your access to STEM, and really just consolidating that whilst making that step up then, Jen, as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's good to know that support is in college, because I think that's really important for anyone who is maybe, a wee bit concerned or looking to brush up on their skills, to make sure that they're engaging with the support services as well. And I would imagine you guys work quite closely with your support teams.
We do. We do. And I think that, if you think your SWAP, the SWAP tutor will cover other subjects as well in other classes, and we have a good idea of what goes on in the other classes. So it means that when you progress from SWAP up to HNC, every student will get the same regardless of the background. But if we've got a wee bit more knowledge about where you came from, then that can help us. we've also got really, the colleges have got good support networks, and if you use them during your swap course, they'll also be able to help you. But that doesn't mean to say you have to apply to the same college. Obviously, you can look at other colleges, and we can all support each other. I think that's a key thing. It's there throughout, which is a big thing.
What might a swap student expect to find in their HNC year? So we were aware of what the swap programme has looked like and the various bits and pieces that you do, the elements that make it up. How does HNC differ to the swap programme, Jen?
The HNC programmes tend to have more of a self-directed and independent learning aspect to them. Whereas in swap, although we don't spoon feed you, we tend to give you a bit more directions to study, and we give you more resources. In HNC, we try to take a wee step back and say, well, these are the topics. You might get a shorter lecture and you've got to primarily do the research on them. And that's a good thing. We're encouraging skills there that are built up in the swap programme. You'll also get, the exams tend to be more formal in their setting. So whereas some of the swap exams, it might be discussive, some of them will take an open book folio approach. HNC exams don't always take that. A lot of the science exams are maybe closed book. So what we've then got to do is give you a bit more support in trying to get that. We've also got a kind of greater mixture in the class, because with HNC we have people coming from school. We've got mature adults coming in, and we also have people who are mature but have not completed the swap programme. So you get a very good class mix, lots of different people, lots of different learning styles, and that can be absolutely fantastic, because what you can then do is maybe learn, a different way of doing things that, wasn't covered in the swap programme, because everyone had a kind of the same background. So the HNC offers you so much opportunity, personally and professionally. It's unbelievable.
Sounds like an excellent bridge then between, coming from your swap programme before maybe thinking about university as well, the fact that you're meeting such a diverse range of people, yes, and it's maybe a more kind of realistic expectation for moving on to university. Is the workloads more increased on the HNC? Would students notice a difference? Obviously, you talked about doing some independent study. Yes. Do they cover the same amount of modules? What does the HNC look like in terms of, what's expected from the students?
So the HNC programmes can run 2.5 or 3 days over the week. So the timetable can be a bit shorter. What I would say is that because we have more kind of independent learning, there is more work expected of you at home, which means you're getting your own resources out. You might be asked to do certain tasks and feedback to the tutor, so there is much more emphasis in you doing the work at home. Module wise, there's fewer subjects, and some of the subjects can run over 2 blocks or 2 terms, so you tend to find that the subjects are much more complex and much more intense, and that obviously puts pressure on learners to try and take this information and process it in. So there is a greater expectation in students. But I would always like to say, if students ever felt they were overwhelmed with the HNC, you can always go straight back to your tutor or support team and say, I need a bit of help. That's never an issue, never should be an issue. And that again is an ethos carried forward from swap into HNC. If you need help in an HNC, we'll help you with it, because it can be overwhelming. Your HNC can definitely feel as if you're getting a bit swamped at times, but we get you there. We always get people there. We help you.
Plenty of support, plenty of advice, and it is a familiar environment. Even if you are going off to a different college, having had that college experience should really set you up. What sort of final thoughts or final bits of advice would you give to any of our students, Jen?
Well, I say do what you're going to enjoy. This is it's a lifelong journey. It is big decisions, and you need to enjoy it. I've always told my students, go with your gut instinct. What does your instinct tell you to do? Because that instinct knows you better than anyone else. So I would always say, go with the instinct, make sure you're going to enjoy it. Don't do something because everyone else is doing it. You have to be your own person. And that's what we're trying to do in swap, and getting you ready for transition to HNC or uni is be this independent student and learner who can make their own decisions that are informed, and go to your tutor. They always have your best interests at heart, will always be honest with you, and you've got the Swap West organisation, if there's anything you needed clarification with. But the main thing is to enjoy it. It's a long journey, so you need to have some fun in it.
Absolutely. I think that's a good place for us to end. Thanks very much for chatting to us today, and we wish all of our students who are moving on to a STEM-based HNC the very best of luck in making that progression
Absolutely.
next year.
Good luck.
Thanks, Jen. Thank
No
you.
worries. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.